Hello everybody, welcome to Recovery Lab TV. My name is Chris, I'm your coach and sports therapist, and welcome to this video. Okay, this video is all about the transition one, okay, so T1, and it is the Ironman bike gear bag, the blue bag that we all get given in our race packs. Now, for those new to Ironman Triathlon, have probably never gone through this, and they don't know unless they have a friend to guide them through the process. Okay, so I thought I'd make this video to help you guys. I thought I'd show you what I do coming out of the water of the Ironman swim and then straight into transition. So typically as I come out of that water, I will be popping my goggles on top of my head. A lot of people take off their swim caps and their goggles. I tend to keep mine on my head for a minute, or depending on how I'm feeling, but generally keep it up there, and then that way I got my hands free. I'll quickly tear back my Velcro strap at the top. I will then pull down my lanyard, if you will, that is attached to the zip on my wetsuit, and I'll put it down to waist height. That allows me to have the top half of my body out. I've got my tri-suit on underneath, the Rising tri-suit that I showed you in the first video. I've got my Garmin Swim or Triathlon Pro heart rate strap on there, but whether it's the blue Triathlon heart rate strap or the newest one, the Pro or the Pro Plus, I think it is, any of those will work in the water. So if heart rate data is important to you, then and you're using Garmin, then all of those three will work. I've got that underneath as well. Okay, now for me, generally I will then run into transition. Very rarely are there races set up where you have to put shoes on and so on and so forth. Ironman Wales is one of those races where you come out of North Beach Sea, you go up onto the sand, and you've got these zigzags that come up on top of the cliff face. On there you'll be given a separate bag. In recent times it's been a little pink bag that have enough space to fit a pair of shoes in. I tend to wear the Vivo Bloom shoes. They're basically kind of like the old jelly shoe that you used to wear as a kid if you ever worn those shoes. But they're brilliant for that type of stuff. So because the very first time I did Ironman Wales, I ended up putting a pair of trainers in there, and by the end of the day and the end of the weekend, those trainers were an absolute write-off and I threw them away. Okay, so generally I tend to use these just because I do triathlons a lot. Then you chuck them on. For that race this past September, I actually took off my entire wetsuit and I carried it. It's the first time I've ever done that, but you'll have some people that will. Some people will do exactly what I said at the start, strip it down to the waist, which is typically what I do, and then they'll run into transition. As soon as you get into transition, you will grab your big blue bag, and it's really important to pack your big blue bag in importance levels, if you will. So I will put my shoes at the bottom, and the very first thing that I will have at the top is my helmet, and I will cater it just like so with all this stuff inside. Okay, on top or on the side of it, I've got this nice little transition nutrition pack, if you will. It's nice and simple. It's literally silicone. It just tears open. Inside I've got a nice little towel for my feet, because typically I don't want any sand or any water in my feet to minimize rubbing. So I tend to have a little towel. What I then do is I've gone on to get Johnson's baby talcum powder, and then literally, because I don't want to waste time kind of going in between the toes and making sure the foot is completely dry, I use a ton of this. I cover my feet in from head to toe, and then I know that it's pretty dried up, and it stops any kind of foot mishaps, if you will. I also use a bit of chamois cream into a Ziploc bag or a food bag. Now this is a brilliant tip. the way you do it, you kind of pop it inside, and then all you need to do is then pop it inside out, okay? You've got yourself a little glove. For me, although I wear chamois cream and I put that on before I go into the water, I just like it as a little top up, if you will. So then that way I've got my little glove, I can unzip, I can pop my hand down my tri-suit, I can rub all the necessary bits, and then all I do then is just slide it back. I then zip lock that back across there, just like so, and then this is fully locked and it's not going all over my stuff, right? That's a brilliant tip, and it's also something I do in transition 2 or T2 ready when I go on the run, especially for the longer Ironman courses, and even sometimes on the 70.3 courses. It's really good to have, just because you never know, it could be absolutely hammering it down like it has done, like I said earlier, in Ironman Wales, it was absolutely hammering it down. So topping up is really good, because you're getting soaking wet and things naturally start rubbing, and you want to be comfortable on that run. Similar to this, you want to be comfortable on that bike course. So me personally, depending on how you are and how your skin is and how tough it is, you may want to top up, and that's a brilliant idea of doing that, okay? I also have in my transition pack, if you will, a gel and a bar. For me, I typically like having like a nice tasty treat, if you will. One, you're going to be depleted from your swim, depending on how long it is, but also something rewarding is going to be really good for you. When I did Ironman Bolton a couple of years ago, I'm a massive chocolate fan, and I had a Cadbury's Boost bar. It's full of sugar, it's full of energy, and it's a nice chocolate treat for me as a person and as an individual. For me, I kind of got out on that bike, and it was the very first thing I ate, and it kind of really set the tone for me mentally as I kind of then pushed out the miles on the bike course, okay? Now, the reason why I pack this stuff in my helmet is, one, it allows me, now naturally I don't normally have my glasses in the case itself, so those will be the first things that go on. I'll then put, I like to carry a spare inner tube just because I'm paranoid. And although I ride tubeless, I find in the years experience that I have, you can never be too careful, and I never want to be the guy that is stood on the side of the course completely devastated because I decided not to have this on me on race day. I take it out all the time when I'm cycling with clients or by myself in training, and it literally just goes straight in the back of my pocket. I also, because I ride tubeless, I have this little kind of muck off kit where it has the spike just like so, and it also has my little kind of stickies, if you will, that I can then just literally puncture into the punctured tire and then replace it and fix it just like so. This I also keep in my back pouch on my tri-suit, or if I'm cycling I'll wear kind of like a jersey or a gilet, and then literally I just pop it on there and then tuck it in the back. Something I also carry as well is this muck off bottled air magic, which is exactly that. It is absolutely magic. You can pick it up. This one cost me $11.99. And it instantly seals your tubeless tires or your tubed tires. It's absolutely brilliant. I've used it 1,000,001 times. It has always saved me. I've only ever had it once in all the years I've been using it not work, and that was because the tire was an absolute write-off, and I had 1,000,000 tires because I went over glass, and it just cut out 1,000,000 different places. But that was the only time that it's ever not saved me, if you will. One of my clients used it last year in Ironman Bolton. He went over something, got a flat tire, literally caught it straight away, took the sharp out, plugged that in. It has CO2 in it as well as the sealant, and it saved his race, it saved the day, and he got straight back on the bike and off he went, and literally took less than 30 seconds. So fully recommend that from Muck Off. And then, as you know, guys, when you're in transition, you need your helmets on as soon as you can. Otherwise, they won't let you out the tent. So I chuck my helmet on straight away. This then allows me to go on and dry my feet. And then in my cycle shoes, what I tend to do is I put my little bike computer, and then I turn that on as I'm putting this stuff on. Sometimes I'll wear a pair of socks while cycling. Sometimes I won't, depending on the race and depending on how quick I want to be out of transition. For years I didn't used to wear socks, and I've practiced and trained that way, so don't do anything new on race day because you'll end up suffering as a result of it. But recent years, since starting to use these shoes, for whatever reason I've started wearing socks for them, and so on. So I'll pop a pair of socks in just like so, and then literally just whip them out, chuck them on my feet, and off I go. Something to take consideration, I use speed plate pedals, which are the little lollipop pedals by Wahoo nowadays. These pedals, what I found using in the last couple of years is these little protective caps, if you will, that are part of the pedal, don't like you running in them compared to the SPD cleats. What I found with SPD cleats is be prepared to ruin your shoes whilst you run, especially if your transition is running over gravel. Like in Ironman Wales, the first year, I completely wrecked my cleats on that race and ended up having to buy a new pair of cleats afterwards, which is something or nothing depending on who you are and your budget. But what I found is a little bit more annoying on these is because the protective kind of clips on and slides in. What happens is as you turn the corners to run around potential kind of barriers, if you will, sometimes this protective cover will come off. So just be aware that if you are wearing kind of your speed play pedal cleats on your shoes, just be aware that like kind of turning the sharp corners, it's going to take that cover off potentially, which might make running a little bit harder because now all of a sudden you're running on metal. So just be aware of that. It's just a little fact that I've realised through a few of my races in the past year, and it's something that I've had to adapt the way I run in those shoes. Okay. Typically from there on, you're out and you're onto the bike course. Nutrition is everything, so getting your food in is going to be really important. Something that I haven't got with me here that I've just remembered is something I got told years and years ago in open water swimming that I've always found that has helped. Is if you're not used to swimming in open water and swimming in the sea especially, something that is going to get rid of that taste in your mouth and potentially the sicky feeling that you have after kind of really hectic, crazy, kind of choppy waters, if you will, is a bottle of flat Coke. Now naturally, Coca-Cola has incredible amounts of sugar in, so it's going to help re-carb you and boost your kind of calorie intake to get that energy back that you've just expended at the swim. But also having flat Coke settles your stomach to a degree if you've swallowed a little bit of water or you're feeling a little bit seasick, if you will, from the choppy waves, if that has been the case. The reason why it's flat is ideally you want to kind of let it go flat the day before, seal it up, put it in the bag. The reason why you want it flat is because that gas will potentially upset your stomach. This is something that you should train with and train using, potentially coming out your swims in practice, run into your car to get changed, and then just have maybe a little mouthful or two just to help boost that energy and just get your digestive system acclimatized to the types of foods you're using. Generally, I'll either have something like that in my transition bag, or I'll have a drink with some kind of electrolytes in and some carbohydrates from the brand that I'm using in my race kind of fueling strategies. So generally it's some sort of fluids to get that back in you, and then some sort of nutrition, whether it's a gel or a bar, depending on who you are, how much calories you're burning, how much salts you're losing, and what your race strategies are. But I fully recommend getting those carbs in as soon as you're out on the bike, and then set your Garmin to either use it in a smart way, so it's kind of navigating your metrics, your kind of who you are as an individual, the more data you put into that, and it'll recommend it kind of on a smart way. I tend to set it to every 20 minutes, so it's then popping up and telling me to eat or drink or whatever, and then I act accordingly. I eat and drink. You know, typically I'll try and go through a bottle of fluid an hour, so 500 milliliters of water or carbohydrate mix. I use Morton. I found it absolutely brilliant for kind of setting my stomach. It doesn't have any sort of taste, and 500 milliliters is perfect for that amount, especially on the 160. Or you can get the double dose mix, which I'm going to be trying out in Ironman Bolton later this year. That's transition one. If you have any things that you do in the video that I haven't mentioned, then by all means add it into the comment section. This can be a nice video for everyone to learn from, so the more comments there are, the more people can read, the more people can learn. So thanks for watching. Hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing race. Let me know what races you're doing. So one, it's a cool topic, and two, I'm always interested in learning. All right, so have an amazing day. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the community. It really helps the channel. I'm not sponsored in any way. None of these pieces of equipment have been gifted to me. They've all been bought hard with my earnings, just like you guys. So yeah, by all means, please help grow the channel. Right, have an amazing day, and I shall see you soon. Take care.